It doesn't seem like all that long ago that I was here in the Lego City and we just had one table, maybe two, and we had this huge plan of how we're going to build it. Actually, we had three. And we went to work and we started. But unfortunately, we have fallen into tragedy and we dropped the box on the middle of the Lego City. We have already refurbished the amusement park, but now we have to get into the damaged modulars, and this is where it's going to get interesting. So let's get into today's video. Hello and welcome to Bricks and Toys. My name is Brandon, and today we are tackling the busted modular buildings in the Lego City. As you guys can see, for the last few weeks we have just been kind of working around it and ignoring it as an issue. But now, in today's video, we're going to take out the whole entire rest of the city, and in the process of doing so, one at a time, fix the broken buildings. I can count right now, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 broken modular buildings and one building completely demolished. But still, even though that's the obvious, I still want to make sure that I go through and I double check and recheck everything existing in the Lego City. So with that, let's go ahead and let's just dive on in and get to work. So the first issue that we're going to have with this is, where do we put the cars? And what I want to try to do is just slide the cars up here. Just get them out of the way. We don't have a lot of cars, but this will fill up fast. We can put our police car up over here. Unfortunately, cars like the limo for the Palace Cinema, those were destroyed. Here's more cars. Taxi cab. Just put all of them up here. And then as we go through and we do this, we also want to make sure that we take out our minifigures. I have a box of minifigures for this reason. And ones like She-Hulk here and these Spider-Mans. Let's just take them all out. Put them into a pile to deal with another day. There we go. Because what's going to happen is, if we don't get these minifigures handled, they're just going to get and be nothing but problems. And the good thing is, as you guys already know, we do have pictures of everything, so we know where these go. So let's go ahead and just keep on taking. I will go and get my container. Wow, I just saw some really crazy damage. Well, besides the obvious crazy damage that's right in front of me. But actually, on this, the shock of it coming down and hitting the table was so hard that it actually broke apart the Mills plating. So I removed the figures from this half of the area. I will come back and get the rest later. And then I'll move the cars later. I don't want to keep you guys on the line for too long, because y'all don't like that. Now, we're going to go get a bin over here, and then we're just going to give everything a little bit of a shimmy, and it should start coming apart. There we go. And we don't want anything on the floor, because we're going to lose it if so. And we just want to go through and just start taking things loose from the road. Anything that hangs over, we're just going to put it away in a bin. Just like that. And we're going to come over here. That's broken loose. These buildings, you know what's funny is I had an accident prior. I said it in the other video, and just to be safe, I took these buildings out. But this time around, I was rushing. I didn't care. I was like, I gotta go, gotta go, gotta go. And that's what I get. And if you see me sweating, it's because even though it's in the middle of October, here in the fall, it's still 80 to 90 degrees here in Vegas. and extremely warm. That is just the fun. And what made me think about sweating was the fact of these buildings have sweat stains all over them from all the work we did over the summer, which is disgusting. In case you guys didn't know I was already thinking it, it's gross. So Palace Cinema should come out really easy because there's not much to it. Pull out the friction pins. We don't want to take anything that we don't need to take into the house. And then we're probably going to end up breaking this road plate loose. That way we can just take it off from there. So let's go ahead, let's do that. Those are loose, get rid of those. Now this road plate should break off right there, super easy. Honestly guys, it's so hot here in Vegas when I did this that all mannerisms and things just go out the window. Your one goal is just to say F it and let's get it done. And that may sound like a really bad attitude, but it's what we have to do because it's so hot. Now I'm starting to uncover a little bit of the damage that was done from the fall. And just taking a look at the table, make sure the table is okay. Because this all was loose. And I can see by looking at the Boutique Hotel, it's all loose in there as well. Right now I'm just pulling out all these little triangles that I use for the carport and dropping them in the bucket. So we're going to keep on doing this, and then we're just going to do a little introduction to each video or each building, and then we're just going to do a time lapse of getting it fixed, kind of like what we did with the park. So the next thing you guys are going to see is me inside of the house going over each one of these 7 buildings that we have to fix. Okay, I said that I was going to be back in Studio 2, and we're going to start work on the Daily Bugle first, but look at this. It even echoes in here now without the city. Wow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a 2x4 straight through, and I'm going to square these two up, and I'm going to put a board that comes straight down from here, all the way down, over, back down. Then I'm going to put a little shelf off to that side, and another little board. Well, I'm going to square these two up with these tables. So all these tables are grouped together, and where there's gaps, there's wood. But the board that I will put here will be a little 1x1 stick board to kind of go into the meat of the table. And that way I will have a little bit extra lip. Plus I'll put little brackets on each end to kind of lock in the Lego City from moving. So I have a lot of cars up there. I got a lot of minifigs in storage. So let's take a look at the house. So over here are all the tables, are all the road plates and the landscaping plates and everything. Up here on that table, coming down, we have all the stuff we just finished working on. It's got tinfoil on it to protect it from unauthorized government radio waves or just cats. But over here is the table of stuff that we need to fix. All of these buildings need to be fixed. But all of these 4 are in question. We don't know what's up with these. But then we proceed to have buildings all over the house. And we just got towels covering everything. So now let's go and talk about our first project. Well guys, it's been a very long day. If you guys can tell by the shirt, I am recording the first part and this part back to back. And the reason is because I told people that I would be online tonight to rebuild the Daily Bugle, and I never lie. So that's why I'm working so hard to get all of this done and get to this part so I can keep my word about doing the Bugle for everybody. But the biggest thing is while going through and removing the buildings, you're not going to believe it, but we found more pieces to the up house. Like I said, guys, that's why it's not going back into the city. When it came down super hard. So for the Daily Bugle, looks like I'm double fisting some drinks over here. What do I have going on? I have grapefruit, sparkling water, probably warm now, and a little flat, and Coke. Totally polar opposites. Good for you, bad for you. What happens if you mix them? Okay, that's disgusting. So we're starting off with this. And first thing that we need to keep in mind is this is all the parts to it. It got the big box when it fell. Let you take a look. Yeah, that's a lot of chunks, and hopefully we can put it all back together and make something out of it. So there's that. And then we're starting off with a total of this much. So what I'm going to do here, guys, is we're just going to slip right into a time lapse, and while I am live tonight, we're going to be time lapsing getting this fixed. So let's get into that time lapse and let's start rebuilding the city buildings in this episode. Well, everybody, here is one of the most scary chapters of them all, and that is the Daily Bugle. It is back together, 100% without a doubt. So, how long did this take me? It took me 3 hours on Twitch Friday night. So, it was bad, but I did it exactly how I said I was going to do it when I said about the Speed Champions. You go by chunks. You verify that each column and each chunk is what needs to go, and you just build from there. There is certain parts of this build that is different, and you just have to make sure that you can spot those differences, and then once you're in, you're done. So I'm going to set this one off to the side, and we're going to bring in our second building that is a little bit easier to fix, I believe. And let's take a look at that one. So I have a theory, and that is, to every heavily damaged building, let's fix one building that's not so bad. And I figured, let's start with this building. Now, this building is going to be very interesting. I have not pilled into this or anything at all. It's just been sitting as is. So, for the first time on camera with you, let's look at the damage. As we can see, whatever hit it came in this way. So likely the box came down on top of the police station and the Daily Bugle. It kind of pushed out when it fell, and then it came back and it bumped into this, and it finally rested. So let's take off the top, which wasn't even really attached at all. Looks like we got some missing brick up here. Oh, we're missing one of these pieces. Our 1932 looks pretty decent. We are missing our water tower and our bell tower. Now this is where it gets scary, because I can already see it. Right there, ×2. And that is going to be something I'm going to have to look into my parts to see if I can fix. If not, I'm just going to have to turn the brick around. This being the red brick, guess what has happened? When it has fallen into itself, it has decided to break itself. I can take this off really quick, bring you guys in and show you guys that. Mirror, or the windows are out. As you guys can see, balancing act. Maybe it's focused. But you can see down by my finger and up above, that was the give point. So, that is no good. There is a random chunk of Lego right there. Don't know what that goes to. Looks like our main focus is going to be to fix this window primarily, which just came out. So that should be actually pretty easy to fix. So everything on this floor is pretty much the same. The table or the fridge did come off. There's more pieces of the broken brick that shattered because it's red. So now let's try to take off this floor. I broke the flag off.
But overall, that seems pretty, seems pretty manageable to fix. That's what I thought. I was just really worried because I was finding crumbs of reddish brown brick everywhere. And, it confirms my suspicions. Now, in here, there's things like fire hats, which I can see. Those have dislodged themselves. But it looks like everything down on this part is good. See about closing my door. I want the door closed. There it goes. That looks okay. It looks like on the lower level, I just got to put the fire hats back and straighten up all these little pieces like this. I got jarred around. This mailbox don't look right. I can see why. Just need to straighten up the brick on that too. So it's just straightening out things and getting the top level fixed. So since that one is so easy, let's set this one aside and let's go check out one more. Again, another building that has not been touched since the accident. It still has everything leaning out of it. The only thing that was missing was the lid. I just put the lid back on it. So let's just take a look at everything here. Looks pretty fine. Looks like the lid just probably shot off to save itself. Now with this one, there is a lot of Easter eggs in here that could have been broken. So there is like plates and jumpers. This is like the Eiffel Tower Easter egg. There is a train track Easter egg in here. And then there is a P. There's another one of these floating around my brick, and now I know where that goes. So this is all going to be kind of fun to find out. But overall, this looks like I got to build this floor. Then I got to go through and just recheck everything, because this whole building has kind of been like pushed down and pushed back up. As you guys can see, it's really messed up. Maybe we can just pull off that and just start taking a look. Like all that's jarred out, so that's going to have to be squeezed back down to be fixed. Let's see how the dentist office is looking. The dentist office looks actually really good. Really surprised about that. It is a little janky because we got to fix our stud right here. Easy fix. Oop. Let's not do that off the table. That is a little bit fragile. But you can see there's cracks all throughout that. I almost dropped that live on camera. That would have been pretty stupid. And then we get to the bottom level where we can see a lot of damage. And it looks fine down here. So it might just be a matter of pushing and locking things back down and making sure everything's secure. So we're going to fix these two buildings on a time lapse. Okay guys, so from that time lapse you guys can see that we have figured out everything that's wrong with the assembly square and the fire station. The fire station did have some broken 1x2 reddish brown brick, which for its era is perfectly normal. But I was able to get some 1x2 reddish brown brick from my inventory, as well as some 1x1 plate, and just use double to get it fixed. So not that bad. So as you can see, this one is done, ready to go back, and then this one over here is done as well and ready to go back. I will have to tell you guys, it was not easy getting these numbers to go back to flat, and it was not really easy trying to figure out how all this stuff went together, because as you guys know, with this one, the manual does not exist, and you kind of have to go online to get it, and it's in really bad color. So we got through it, and we got through this one. This one was a little bit worse than I thought. When it got hit, it really jarred the whole bottom of it to where this window was misaligned, and thus I could not get the thing for the life of me rebalanced. But once I got that realigned correctly, it all fall back into place, and thus I was able to get everything put back in nice and square and tight. So now let's go grab our next suspect of the day. Okay, so our next one is the police station. Now, that's what it looked like before, and well, this is what it looks like now. And I already dropped this top part already while moving it over here and starting my day. So with this one's going to be really hard because this is the one that took the fall alongside of the Daily Bugle. So the Daily Bugle and this one are basically partners in the crash. So this one's going to be terrible. As you guys can see, the soaps and suds is all messed up. This roof's all messed up. Everything's loose, falling apart. The walls are just knocked out completely, left and right. There's like nothing. That just fell off. But then like the back part of it is just hanging on by a thread. That's just terrible. This is one of my favorite buildings out of all the buildings that I currently have. I love the story behind this one, and to see it in this type of shape is just heartbreaking and heart-wrenching. We do have our stairs that just broke off. So what we're going to do now, oh, it looks like the donut shop made it out unscathed. At least, thank God the donuts are okay, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to start work on this one, but before I start work on this one, let's also introduce the cousin to this one, or the partner to this one, which is going to be the Boutique Hotel. Because I see I have both of these up here, and I'm going to be referring to this picture a lot to get these repaired. So let's go ahead and let's get the Boutique Hotel and see what's up with that. Now, this is where the story gets really interesting to me. In this corner block, I don't know how much you guys could see, but we have the Daily Bugle, which we know decimated. First thing we did on this video. Now we're getting ready to do the police station, decimated. Then we had the Boutique Hotel, and well, I don't know if you guys can do math or not, but we're missing a whole floor, and this actually ain't too bad, but it's pretty decimated in the terms of what did break. So we had the upper floor and a lot of the surrounding stuff of the Boutique Hotel completely destroyed. Daily Bugle destroyed. Police station destroyed. But the brick bank is almost perfect, if not perfect. So I have no clue how you have a block of 4 buildings and the building number 4, which is the brick bank, which would be right behind the Boutique Hotel, perfectly fine. So that's completely bizarro. But what we're going to do now, we're going to go into a time lapse. We're going to get these 2 buildings fixed, and then we're going to go and actually examine the Parisian restaurant, which was on the opposite side across the street of the Daily Bugle. And then we're going to examine the brick bank for damages, go through the pictures, and see if everything looks the same as it did before the accident. And then we're going to go and tackle our next 2 buildings, our final 2 buildings to get fixed. And then we got 2 more buildings to examine, which will be the bookshop and the diner, which is going to be the bookshop's across the street from the brick bank, and the diner is right down here. You know, the fun fact is I took these photos right before the accident, like maybe the day before. So I'm really glad I did that. So now let's get to a time lapse. Okay, well, 2 more down. We have officially, at this point, crossed over 5 repaired buildings. Holy guys, this is a lot. So, police station, even though it looked really bad and starred as the thumbnail of this video, it was honestly not that bad. Now the boutique hotel, whatever happened with that, I think the floor fell onto the floor, the second or the top level, and it just decimated. And since so many pieces are alike but not alike, it was really hard to figure out what goes where, because it looks like it goes here, but it could also go there. It's just like the first 2/3 of the pieces could go anywhere, but just the top piece that was remained, that top piece judged where exactly it went. So that was the hard part with the boutique. This went right back together. We're almost out of pieces that we had left over. So I'm getting super excited, guys. And with that, let's put these two buildings off to the side. Let's pull up a picture of some of the buildings that we're going to go over and look at right now. I got that ready for me to look at. Now, I think I just replaced the tree. I found the tree floating around in some of the parts. So I think I got the tree replaced. So let's get the brick bank after we take these out. Okay, so now we have our brick bank in front of us. And like I keep saying, I just cannot believe that this is not scathed. Like, I don't know how. The building behind it, decimated. The building diagonal from behind it, decimated. And as you can see here, the Bugle, decimated. Pictures are proof. So it is true. Like, this was in the firing line. And from looking at it, it's perfect. The only thing that got nailed is this tree. And I've already put the tree back. I just cannot believe that this is unscathed. Like, I'm looking at the pictures, I'm looking at the alignment, I'm looking at the cracks in all the walls, because that's where it's going to tell us the stories, if there's any fracturing of the building. The money is still on the roof from the laundering. I mean, it's all there. So, let's, headphone warning, and let's just give it a quick suck, and we'll be on to the next building, which will be, so the next one is going to be the diner. And I can say, I think the diner is a 10 out of 10. Again, I think it has to do with the ladder positioning, because the Sanctum Sanctorum is creamed, the palace is creamed, but yet this just had its antenna knocked off and some other little things I've already put back just for moving it around. But we'll get that next. But first, let's give this a quick sucky. So, headphone warning. Now, let's go and get the diner. Let's just go ahead and let's give it a quick blow or suck. Headphone warning. So we don't have an all-around shot of the diner. We just have what we have. So again, like with the brick bank, we're going to check for cracks. Now, I do know from prior accidents that this staircase is extremely fragile. And the staircase looks perfect. I see nothing wrong. The lamp for the walkway is still here. Trash Panda is still behind the restaurant. What was broken was one of these ladder bars. I already put that back. The antenna was broken off. It's missing the bird, but it's back. Going across the roof, we do have our pedestrian out on the balcony. She's fine. All of these windows, everything looks tight. Again, everything looks really good. And I see no reason to investigate this any further. Like, it seems perfect. So now let's go and get our next two suspects. Okay, so here we are with our last two buildings. And this was the Palace Cinema. And there's the roof. And there's the second level of the cinema. And as you can see, that's not attached. That was laying on the floor. That is the floor where the screen and stuff is supposed to be. That's clearly not there. Other than that, the lower level looks fine. Even the tickets and money stayed pretty much intact. I am surprised by all this. Weirdly enough, one of these little 1x1 transparent plates for the lights, that did get knocked off. Everything inside seems fine. These older models are a blessing with this because they're older. There's not that many pieces. It's not as complicated as the boutique hotel would be. And lucky for me, that should be really easy to fix. So we'll get to that in just a second. Now I do know I had to order some of the replacement parts for the roof. I'll talk about that down the road, but I can already see pieces for that next to me that's broken. Now this seems to be all okay, with a few exceptions of we have damage all over this floor. We're missing the top roof plate, and we're missing all the things that makes this the second or the third floor. And then on this floor alone, it's, yeah, every time I move it, it just wants to come apart. So this needs to be restructured. I think the lower level is fine. It's just missing some plating over here in the back. So we can get all this fixed relatively easy. So that's going to be our next time lapse and our final time lapse of this video. And just like that, the last two are repaired. That is 7 buildings in total. So far, nothing too eventful to report on the repair of these. One thing I did forget to mention about this one was the fact of I accidentally kicked this one after the fact. So before I filmed this video, I went to clear off the rack up above like you saw in the cars video, and I accidentally kicked this one, which broke it even more. And one thing I just realized really quick by looking at this, I may have one of these smokestacks incorrect. So actually I want to take a look and see about fixing that really quick. Yeah, this one actually turns around this way. Yeah, that's the way it wants to go. So like on this one, I actually had a edge clip on the outside when it's supposed to be facing the inside. You can see the error in the building right here. It does not look right. Never noticed it, but by repairing it, I was like, man, why is this going together correctly? And then I went back through it and I looked at the picture. I'm like, because I never had it correctly in the first place. So really happy about the pictures in that sense, is it really does help. So Sanctum Sanctorum is done. One thing I did want to show you guys is, this is just a small fraction, but these are the red cylinders from the roof. I ordered about 20 a piece of every color, and I'm glad I did because I needed about 6 to 8 to get the roof done, because these got all crushed. Other than that, everything is fine. There is a chip taken out of the top corner up here. And, you know, I could get a replacement stone brick and a replacement piece, which I probably will in the future. But that little smush right there is, it's a reminder. You know, I'm going to keep that there as the one little nibble reminder of the accident and everything. And to always remind myself that if you see something, do something. So with that one, let's go put these off to the side. Let's go get our last 2 buildings to inspect, and then let's wrap up this video. So one of the first things I want to do with these is actually give them a quick dusting. So headphone warning. So now let's go and find our picture of the Parisian restaurant. I actually found one thing broken already. So let's go ahead, pull up our picture, and let's take a look at it. Okay, so these are actually going to be in the same picture. And the first thing I'm finding is that this little guardrail is pushed in. Now, all these pieces up here that I spray painted when I had to build this, lucky for me, that spray paint kind of acts like a glue. I just got to looks like I just got to realign my guardrail up here, make sure it's all put in tight. It does look a little displaced, so I want to make sure that my little railing awning thing is all good. That's all good. Signs are still here. Looks very uneventful. I did find some weird things loose, like the upper here. You can see it kind of had an impact right there on the side. Like when 9/11 happened, those pieces of the Twin Towers crushed other buildings. And when the Daily Bugle came down, I was very surprised not to find any more than what I just saw here with how this is all pushed in. I'm very lucky that this is all still very secure and looks to be very solid. I'm just checking all my brick alignment, make sure that it's all good, and I cannot believe it. Like I said, maybe it has to do with the amount of spray paint I used on the front, and it just made it bulletproof. Who knows? But when big buildings fall, whether it's Lego or in real life, if not done properly, terrorist attack or an incoming box on your Lego city, it can be very bad for everything around it. Now, let's go and look at the bookstore. Still got that. My minifigures are all gone, but we can put those back later. Smokestacks, those things. Yeah, I'm going to say that this is chalked up to good. So that concludes it for this build series, or rebuild series. Now we just have one more video to finish this whole thing off. Now, right now, I could go back, put everything back like it was, but then that would mean I cheaped out on one detail. So before any of this happened, I had one thing planned to film for the city this month. And that one thing was to take out the whole city and start squaring up the tables, leveling the tables, and trying to build the tables to be more stronger of a foundation for the large city that is on top of them. So that is going to be in the next video, and that's going to be the third and final part of the restoration. We have now done the cars, which was its own video. We did the amusement park, which was the first video. We have completed this video, and now I'm off to Home Depot to get the rest of the stuff, to get those tables built correctly and get this done. So with that one, everybody, I just want to say, comment your thoughts down below. What do you think about all this work? What do you think about this project? Are you guys happy to see the Lego City coming back together? I know I'm thrilled. I feel like I have accomplished maybe 99% accuracy on all of this. And with the up house, everybody, I'm not worried about the up house because I just found out that we're probably going to get another 48 by 32 base plate building in with the next modular building, which is going to be a museum. So what that means is I'm going to move the fire brigade, and that means I'm just going to add a base plate, and I'm going to put the museum right next to Assembly Square, right in that empty 16 by 32 slot. So up house won't even be missed. For now, it's an empty hole. It is what it is. A lot of the pieces of the up house really convoluted this whole project because there were so many different bricks and different things that didn't make sense that I used to make that house. And when it went down and it went kaboosh, it got mixed in with all of these really nice sets. And I had a bin the whole time off to the side of things that might be up house or might be to other things. Luckily I did, because some of the things were to other things, but that was just a part of the process. The good thing is every box that I had parts set aside in for particular buildings, those all went in where they were supposed to go. Very little leftovers, and things, if not here, went there, and we resolved it. So I'm so happy to be here. So let me know in the comments below if you're happy to see all this fixed as well, because this hurt, and now I feel like I have healed. So like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. See you on the next episode when we get that table fixed outside.